You don't want to be in your head while you're in your sensual sexual experiences. You want to be in your body. Always thinking can get in the way of your pleasure. Welcome to the Sexuality Clinic Podcast, designed to help you deepen emotional and physical connections, prioritize your pleasure, and build stronger, more intimate relationships. Hosted by Canadian clinical sexologist Roxana Smallwood. That's me. This show offers a shame-free space for candid, science-backed discussions on sexual health, body literacy, anatomy, self-exploration, and relationships, both solo and partnered. Whether you're seeking to better understand your body, explore your desires, or communicate your sexual needs with confidence, each episode provides actionable tips and expert insights that empower you to take control of your sexual expression. From understanding the nuances of intimacy and pleasure to building healthier, more fulfilling relationships, this podcast is your go-to guide for all things sex and connection. Ready to prioritize your pleasure and start building the intimate life you deserve? Tune in now and don't forget to download my free checklist, join the waitlist for my online course, or check out my online adult shop at thesexualityclinic.com. Subscribe today and start your journey toward more confident, connected, and pleasurable relationships. So today we're going to discuss the role of sensory play in enhancing sexual experiences. What is sensory play? In the context of sexuality, sensory play is engaging and stimulating the senses. So sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. All to deepen intimacy, pleasure, and excitement. So why does sensory play matter? It can actually help individuals and couples to explore a different dimension of intimacy, to create some novelty in your relationships, and to enhance your body awareness. Getting curious is really what's underneath sensory play. Now, there's something called sensate focus, which is a very prescriptive way of sort of reintroducing sexual activity, often for people who are in a dry spell or experiencing maybe a sexless relationship. That's often suggested. Now, that's a very prescriptive way of approaching introducing intimacy again and looking at the different sensations and how each body responds. But for today's purpose, I'm not going to focus on the sensate focus. I'm just going to talk generally about the five senses and their impact on sexual pleasure. When it comes to sight, for example, visual stimulation is important for sexual arousal. Sometimes feeling really sexy in a nice outfit and catching a glimpse of yourself in the mirror, thinking, oh yeah, this is it. Maybe wearing some lingerie that provides a gorgeous appeal, either for yourself or for a partner, or maybe incorporating something like a bit of erotic material. Could be video, could be imagery, could be some kind of explicit material that might help you feel in the mood and maybe you're exploring solo or with the partner. But that sense of sight can also be intrigued by dim lighting, maybe connecting with eye contact. That sight sensation can be quite important in the role of sexual arousal, but it can also be fun when you take it away. So I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Carrying on with the five senses and their impact on sexual pleasure, sound. Sound is a powerful enhancer for mood and for arousal. If you like to have a little bit of music playing while you're intimate, I do encourage. So sometimes I get lost in thinking about coupled play when I'm talking, but I always want you to realize that solo exploration is just as important as couple exploration. Masturbation is the teacher of our orgasm and what our body's like, right? So setting aside some time for solo play and solo exploration is just as important as setting aside some time for partnered play and partnered exploration. You can also use what you learn from your solo play to inform the partnered play. Sometimes it's easier to just relax and be yourself and not get caught up in all of these little anxieties that our society has helped us to form in our minds. Our brain is a really key player in our sexual experience, and what we're telling ourselves plays a big role. So if you can get comfortable on your own and invite a partner in and be comfortable with a partner, then you're golden. Okay. So sound, choosing specific music, in using voice to communicate pleasure. Maybe you're making kind of moaning sounds, maybe you're actually speaking with sound. Could be white noise, could be even silence. The lack of sound can be kind of nice, and you can just hear your body's functioning. Smell. So, how scent can evoke memory and emotion, contributing to arousal. I've got this beautiful candle in front of me I'm going to talk about in a minute, and it smells wonderful. Examples of how you can incorporate smell are using essential oils, scented candles, personal fragrances. You can choose scents that resonate with positive memories or emotions. Taste. You can play with taste and intimacy and connection. Maybe some flavored lubricants or body oils, incorporating food play in a sensual way. And then finally, touch. So the foundational sense in physical intimacy is touch. There are a variety of ways to introduce new textures, new sensations. I'm going to go through some ideas in a few minutes here, but some examples could be feathers, silk scarves, massage oils, even experimenting with temperature through ice or warm oils. So here we are. Let's just carry right on into the safety and consent aspect. So the importance of communication cannot be stressed enough. Okay, discussing and setting clear boundaries and communicating comfort levels around new experiences is so important. In the BDSM community, you would have a negotiation before you have a scene. I would love for all sexually active folks to have communication before an experience, okay? So having that bit of a negotiation about what's okay, what's not okay, um, and you can always revoke your consent. Know that, okay? Just because you said you were into it doesn't mean you have to remain into it. And it doesn't mean that you've given your consent eternally, right? So, tips on obtaining affirmative, enthusiastic consent can just be to have a conversation. It may not be super sexy to start talking about consent, but you know what? We've got to make it sexy. We've got to make consent something that's fun to get, something that's part of the regular process, especially with experimenting with new textures or elements that might be surprising. Like if you've got something hot that you're going to use or cold, you just want to give that bit of a heads up or get that consent first. All right, so let's take a look into some of the tools and accessories that we can sort of talk about here. First, we talked about sight, right? So I mentioned it. Maybe some pornography, maybe some lingerie. Maybe we want to look at some images of each other. Maybe you've got a little spank bank set to the side of your partner or sexual interests, and you can just have that extra little visual stimuli. Maybe it's a mirror. Having a mirror on the roof, a mirror on a closet, a mirror on the wall. Sometimes catching that glimpse of what's going on right before you, but kind of from a third party perspective, is kind of erotic, right? So you can play with the different ways that you can incorporate visual stimuli. And again, candles, soft lighting, and the mirrors are something that could be in the room. But having that little bit of a lingerie to sort of up your confidence or having some extra materials can really help you get into the mood. Even if there's some kind of a rhythm that you're sort of following, can be a lot of fun. Okay, so that's with the visual. Now, sound. So, using sound to set the scene, the role of ambient sounds or playlists can be quite nice. Doesn't have to be hard rock metal. Maybe you want to be sitting on a speaker. Who knows? You can use sound to guide the pace or the mood of your experience, right? Moving into smell and taste, I wanted to show you a couple of options here. So here we have and if you're not watching, just know that I'm holding a massage candle. You can also catch my podcasts as video on YouTube and on Spotify. But a massage candle that lights for some heat and can really be nice for a smooth touch. It's a great aid in sensual play if you're wanting to play with the senses. This particular one comes with a little wooden spoon, so you can scoop some of the wax. Well, it's not wax, it's a massage oil candle. But you can scoop some of the liquefied product onto your skin and then have a nice sensual massage. This one here smells absolutely decadent. I've got a few different options for fragrances. This one here is called Wood on the Fire. Um, Great for winter, warm play. We also have some sort of sensation gloves that you can use for massage. And then when it comes to the smells, you can use pheromone perfumes as well. So I've got a couple of options. I've got some for her, I've got unisex, and for him, masculine, feminine, and sort of a unisex option. I've got it in a roller bottle. That's the Pure Instinct. You can find these on my shop at thesexualityclinic.com. I love the pheromone perfumes. Really nice for getting your mood sort of improved, gets you feeling good. Usually a pheromone scent is something like you'd put it maybe in your pulse points, at your wrists, maybe behind your ears, maybe down in your cleavage area or on your ankles, somewhere where it has a chance to interact with your body's chemistry to create a scent that's a bit more unique to you. So while we do have sort of the more masculine or feminine fragrances, it will still morph into a fragrance that is unique to you based on how it interacts with your body's chemistry. So having that kind of a nice fragrance, that nice scent, can really get people feeling turned on. So skin-friendly options for taste and scent, such as edible oils or fragrant massage candles or the Pure Instinct sort of pheromone enhanced products are quite nice. And then I guess the majority of what else I wanted to talk about relates to touch, different types of touch, even restraining your ability to move or see. How about, I know we talked about sight. What about the option of a blindfold? The blindfold is fabulous for eliminating your sense of sight, which ultimately enhances the other senses. So perhaps you want to use a blindfold so that you're not aware of what feeling or touch or taste is coming next. And it will be a surprise, and your other senses will be heightened when you take one away, right? So, using a blindfold and then even possibly exploring the sensations of touch, maybe you would have a little flogger. This one is called the Brat Flogger, and it can be used for light touch on the body, or you can give a little bit of a sting, right? Now, again, with the consent, having a sense taken away, like with a blindfold, you can use a satin scarf or a satin tie, or you could use an actual blindfold to remove that visual sense. And then you can play with something else. So whether you're using a massage oil that brings some heat, maybe it's the massage candle that we just talked about, or maybe it is a flogger, or maybe it's a crop. We have a few different options to choose from, maybe a feather for sensation on the skin, using that feather to sort of tease and tickle and tantalize your partner, even using it with yourself. You can run it along your belly, down the sides of your torso, down your legs, even on your face. It can be quite relaxing and help you to become more in tune with what's happening in your body. The key to sensation play, it's about being curious about what you are sensing and attempting to connect in a way that's new and unique with the sensations. From Sexual Intelligence, this fabulous book, there's a lot of talk about what normal sex looks like. And so often people are thinking about what their partner is thinking. We are not mind readers. The only way to know what your partner is thinking and experiencing is by them expressing their thoughts and their feelings. Sounds like making sound while you're experiencing your pleasure can be a good way to communicate. Spending time thinking about whether or not somebody else is enjoying their time is not valuable. What's better is to be curious, to have that sense of curiosity about, oh, how will this taste? And to just enjoy your role in the experience. You can enjoy watching a feather run down the body of your partner. You can enjoy the sensation of the heat on your hands while you rub on your partner's body, or you can enjoy the sensation on your hands while you rub your own body. You can zone in and really think about the different aspects of the sensations that you're feeling to really embody yourself. You don't want to be in your head while you're in your sensual sexual experiences. You want to be in your body, okay? Always thinking can get in the way of your pleasure, right? So, a few more options for other items that you might want to include could include some warming lubricants. I've got a couple of options here. There are also cooling lubricants, playing with the different flavors, playing with the different cooling versus warming, maybe even playing with a comb. I do have like a little bear claw that I found at one of our sex trade shows, but here I've just got a comb. You can play with the sensation of a comb along your skin. Okay, so different sensations will evoke different types of emotion or feeling, and it's great if you are comfortable to express how you're feeling with a partner or to just note for yourself which ones you like. Also, we've got some reusable ice cubes. These can be fun. These are, I mean, you can use real ice cubes, of course, but you just might end up with a bit more of a wet mess. Reusable ice cubes can be nice to have that heat versus cold, and you can play with that. Maybe you pop it near the nipples. Maybe you put a little bit on the genitals and see how they react. Maybe you just do a full body massage with some warm stones or some reusable ice cubes. The options are really truly endless, and you don't need to buy all kinds of goodies from specialty sex shops. You can look through your kitchen, you can look through your bedroom, you can find some wonderful ways to play with regular household items, maybe a wooden spoon, maybe a silicone spatula, maybe a tie that you can just use around your eyes to block that visual stimuli. Now, when we talk, one more thing here. So feathers, blindfolds, massage oils. I've got a few notes making sure. I think I've kind of covered the majority of what I was hoping to cover in terms of adding value with sensation. What I want to impress upon you is that you can start small. I want to emphasize the benefits of starting with simple additions, like just adding a favorite scent or a soft texture. Even the waterproof blanket that I carry from Liberator, that is such a beautiful, sensual, soft texture, much better than just an old bathroom towel or one of these hospital pee pads that you can kind of also use for waterproof protection. But if you are intentional with which items you bring in and signals to you that sense of care that you're giving to yourself, then you might enjoy yourself a lot more with some really intentional pieces brought in. So you can reflect on your comfort level and adjust the activities that you're participating in based on what you or your partner enjoys. Check in regularly, right? Ongoing consent and communication is super sexy. People who talk about sex have way better sex. So if you just sort of keep revisiting, keep that curiosity alive, what you liked years ago may not be what you still like now. We often get into patterns and habits, especially in partnered relationships, even with our solo play. Habituation is something we want to avoid. So you don't want to keep doing the same thing because you've always done it. You want to incorporate new and different ways to explore and get curious. It doesn't always have to be wild and crazy. I'm talking like having this nice little feather to just bring down the back of your partner's neck or of your own body. These are just simple little ways to treat yourself and to give yourself the permission to explore your body and prioritize your own pleasure. So, new experiences together can actually foster closeness, can encourage vulnerability, and can support open communication. Sensory play can increase comfort and acceptance of one's own body as well. So if you just let go of anything you might be thinking and just focus in on the sensation, that can be really freeing. I would like to offer you some gentle encouragement to explore sensory play, reminding you that there's no right or wrong way to incorporate it. You can also, of course, experience sensations from bedroom accessories, maybe some vibration, maybe some pulsation, maybe some fullness. There are honestly endless options available. I'm happy to help guide you if you're looking for some personalized advice. You're welcome to reach out to me directly. Roxana at thesexualityclinic.com is my email address, or you can pop into my website and complete one of the contact me forms. Some resources for sensory play. You'll find a blog post on sensory play with some links to a few of these items at my site. Yeah, feel free to reach out with any questions as they have arisen and just stay curious out there. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Sexuality Clinic Podcast, Exploring Pleasure in Relationships. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on Apple Podcasts or leave a comment in Spotify or on your YouTube. Um, any interaction you have with my podcast helps others to discover our conversations. So stay curious, stay connected, and always prioritize your pleasure. Until next time, I'm Roxana, encouraging you to embrace every aspect of your intimate sexual journey.